Hello and welcome to episode 1 of our Zero to Hero series. It's similar to what we did last year if you are a long-term viewer of the channel, but if you're not, I'll explain to you how it works now. So the premise is very simple. You start in the lowest playable league, and then you choose the team that is closest to your house. Last year for me that was Bath City, but this year I have a team that's a little bit closer. Once you've chosen that team, you then go on to try and win the Champions League. You don't have to stay with that team all the way through. You can hop from one team to the other. But when you do start the game, you start with absolutely no coaching badges, and your playing experience needs to be set to Sunday League footballer. So it might take you a while to climb to the likes of Manchester City, for example, and win that Champions League. You can change countries, you can change continents, you can do whatever you need to. But at the end of the day, it's win the Champions League. And the other part is to do it in the most realistic way possible when you're making your decisions. So no touching the player search screen. You can only look at players if your scouts bring them to you. And also, you only change jobs if it makes financial sense. Now, for example, if you're at Bath City last year and they're paying you £500 a week, and I believe in that series, Barnsley, or maybe Nottingham Forest, I can't remember what way round it was. One of those came in and went, we'll pay you £20,000 a week, then absolutely you move clubs. But if you were at Arsenal, let's say, on £60,000 a week, maybe in a bit of bad form, and Real Madrid came in and went, we'll pay you £50,000 a week, that move wouldn't make any sense. It means moving country and leaving your job, and why would you take a £10,000 pay cut? Without further ado, we are going to jump straight into this year's starting team, which is Taunton Town. Now, Taunton Town is a little bit of an interesting one as well, because this is the first time they've ever been playable in Football Manager. And as far as I'm aware, from looking at Wikipedia, admittedly, this is the first time they've ever been in this league. So this is the highest point in terms of professional football this team has ever been. It is their 75th season as well as a club, and as we can see here, we always get this. Eyebrows have been raised in the world of football at the appointment of the inexperienced 30-year-old. Oh god, I'm 30 on Football Manager now, that's a bit scary. And we're sure to face plenty of questions when we face the media later on. We have got a deal for 1 year worth £750 a week, and obviously replacing previous manager Rob Dre. I'm sure is very popular with the club after getting them promoted last season. We're getting greeted by Kevin Sturmey, the chairperson. Welcome to Taunton, it's great to have you here. As part of your introduction, or induction, sorry, you'll shortly be given our welcome pack. Lovely stuff. Let's just have a look through the club. That's what today's episode is. It's very much meet the team, have a look at what we might want to do, and then in tomorrow's episode, we will start playing matches. I'm intending to upload this series Monday through Friday, nothing on Saturdays and Sundays. Videos don't tend to do very well there, and I'll reserve those for any rebuilds and other FM23 content we want to put in there. So this will be 5 days in a row for the first 5 days of the week. We can see here then, Taunton Town, a 1-star reputation club. The media predicts us to finish 23rd, which I believe is the relegation zone, maybe even rock bottom. Are the 23 or 24 teams in the Southern League? It's 24. So the media expects us to finish almost, but not quite, rock bottom. Interesting to see as well that Taunton in real life are in 17th place, 15 games played, 5 wins, 5 draws, 5 losses, and 20 points on the board. I'd say they're doing all right for their first season in this league. We also play at Wordsworth Drive, which has a capacity of 4,000. We've got poor training facilities, very basic youth facilities, and limited youth recruitment. That's all lovely stuff. We start with a transfer budget of absolute donuts and a wage budget of just under £4,500 a week. We're told that as a club, it enjoyed its best spell of success during the 2010s. I'd argue that surely this is a better spell of success getting promoted to this league, but we'll allow it. They won the English 7th tier for the only time in 2022, which is what has just happened, and finished runners-up once. Might have even been the season before. We've won the FA Vars in 2001 and finished runners-up once. And we've also finished runners-up in the Southern League Cup in 2022. So they had a very good season last time out. This is what we're saying is our best formation I'm telling you now, that's not the formation I'm going to be playing. I refuse to play a back five with 2 defensive midfielders. It's just not going to happen. And here we have got the club vision stuff as well, which is always very, very interesting. So the board culture is to sign players under the age of 23 for the first team, which I am absolutely fine with. Work within the wage budget, which is required, and kind of makes sense as well. We don't want to bankrupt the club. This season, they expect us to attempt to avoid relegation from the National League South. So not even avoid it, just attempt to avoid it. Obviously, if we don't avoid it, we're getting sacked because we physically can't play in a lower league on FM. So it's kind of, you know, avoid relegation at all costs. They want us to be competitive in the FA Cup. This always bothers me because what do they class as competitive? They want us to be competitive in the FA Trophy as well. Then we can see our contract expires at the end of the season. After that, they want us to become an established National League team and then eventually finish in the top half over the course of the next 5 years. I'm hoping we can accelerate that process quite a bit. Supporter expectations remain in the National League South. I'm fully on board with that. And get the better of our rivals, Tiverton, if we happen to play against them, which seems unlikely. Before we go any further in the video, of course, if you do enjoy today's episode and you want to help support it, then please do drop a like down below. It would be really, really appreciated. And now, I guess it's just time to have a look through the club. They do want us to put in tactics straight away, but I think before we do that, we'll just accept the club vision that we just saw, and we'll have a quick look at the squad. Quickly, before we do that, there is some cool little Taunton Town bits I have bought for the purpose of this series, and also it's a smaller team, support your local football and all of that. Hopefully I'll get to go see a game soon, so not too far away from where I live. But for the purpose of this series, we have bought a few little bits. The first of them, which I'm trying to keep in focus, is this little pin badge with Taunton Town Football Club around it, and of course their little badge logo emblem that's currently on their kits, which is very, very cool. The second one is a lovely new mug, which is currently full of tea, so I'm trying to be very careful with it. It's got Taunton Town Football Club and their logo on it, and then it has got the Peacocks established in 1947 on it. And last but not least, we got a lovely retro tie, which has got Taunton Town Football Club on it, and I believe that is their old style logo. But either way, I think it's something we have to be wearing throughout the rest of this video. You know, it's our first day at the club. There we go. Perfect. Back to the actual football then, and the players at this club. So I've just quickly put in some sort of custom view so we can kind of see what's going on here. And if we just have a quick look and I select all the players available, we've got a 21-man squad currently. Unselect. I don't want you to be selected anymore. Let's just very quickly arrange these guys in terms of a current ability, or at least what our assistant manager thinks is current ability, and have a look through the team. So we've got Lee Lucas here, who is a 30-year-old Welsh central midfielder who looks very, very good reports-wise. A leading National League South player, which is absolutely fantastic. Looks like he plays well as a deep line playmaker. I don't have a massive problem with any of his attributes at all. I do have a problem about one thing, and that's that he is injured for 3 to 5 months. Our best player at the club being out for 3 to 5 months is a less than ideal start to this journey with Taunton Town. We have got Lloyd James as well. Again, a central midfielder, 4.5 stars of current ability. Looks very, very solid. Wants to play as a ball-winning midfielder. He seems fairly capable, although I feel like his tackling is maybe a little bit low for that star rating and a ball-winning midfielder. But again, he's 34, so he might do all right this season, but he's not really someone we could start building the team around. We've then got Jack Bycroft, who's an English goalkeeper on loan from Southampton. I assume then this is his first season here. He was on loan at Dorchester in the Southern Premier South last season. Now on loan with Taunton Town. We've then got Ross Stern, English 31-year-old left winger, can also play on the right. So he is an inverted winger. Third foot, obviously his right foot. So depending what we want to set up system-wise. He can play either on the left or on the right. Joe Budd. This is more the play I'm looking for, I think, this season. 3.5 stars of current ability. Potential ability of 5 stars. 19 years old, can play as a deep line playmaker. That, he seems like a player that maybe we could look at building the team around. Currently a National League South standard player, could be a National League standard player. I think Joe Budd going to be very, very important this season. Zach Smith as well here. Another one, 21 years old. I don't think we're likely to play a 4-4-2, but I'm not sure about that yet. So he can play as a central midfielder, let's say, or defensive midfielder. 21 years of age, plenty of potential to grow. Zach Smith, another one we could be looking to use quite a bit. And yet another 21-year-old, Jay Falston, a left-back. Welsh, 21 years old, can also cover at centre-back. He looks pretty decent. 6 foot, maybe a little bit short for a centre-back, but I think he'll do. He looks pretty decent. It goes down from there, of course. We then have a look at potential. So Joe Budd and Zach Smith, who we just looked at, both are 2 highest potential players, so they are going to be very, very important this season. Jack Bycroft, our on loan goalkeeper, is in there as well. Lee Lucas, but again, he's probably not likely to grow at the age of 30. Neither is Lord James at the age of 34. And after that, we've got Dylan Morgan, who is a left winger, 19 years old. Nice bit of potential as well. Jay Falston. All of this looks pretty good. If we look back, though, and arrange this by current ability, and we take maybe our top 10 players, then we have a look through it. We've got 2 central midfielders, goalkeeper, which is nice in our top 3, a left winger. Can Ross Stern play as anything else? He can play on the right. He could play as a left midfielder perfectly capably, so that's quite good. We've then got Joe Budd, so another central midfielder. We've got a right midfielder, a left back, another left back, a centre back. And then Harry Warwick, who is 22 years old and can play as a right winger, but not as a right midfielder. Where does that leave us tactics-wise? Bit of an interesting one, this one. I think we've either got to play a 4-4-2 or maybe a 4-3-3 or something that allows us to use the wingers. So if we have a look on here, the assistant manager is saying either a fluid counter-attack, a direct counter-attack, or to park the bus. I say, Mr. Assistant Manager, you're just not being ambitious enough. We're going to go with a wing play in that case, which you can play either as a 4-4-2 or a 4-3-3, both of which suit me absolutely fine. I'm just not sure which one's going to fit our players that well yet. Let's try a 4-3-3. Let's just do that a second. And if we quick pick this without restriction, best 11, let's have a look. So our defensive midfielder is Zach Smith we wanted to use. We're not playing you as Segundo Volante, but we could play you potentially as a deep line playmaker or as a defensive midfielder in there. So let's put him to defensive midfielder. We've then got a box-to-box midfielder and a deep line playmaker. Stern over on the right, or on the left, sorry, although he wants to be inverted wing on that side. And then Sims Burgess over here on the right wants to play as a winger as well, which isn't ideal because that doesn't really fit with Stern. And we could there's no one behind him really we could play there. We could drop this back to a 4-4-2 potentially as well. Up front at the moment, we've got Harry Warwick, who we looked at a minute ago, 22 years old. Looks like he is our best striker. We might need some improvement there. No offence, Mr. Warwick, at all. I don't feel like you're a striker at the moment. Maybe you could play over here, though, and we could play with 2 inverted wingers rather than wingers. That might be something we have to have a look at. At the back, we've got Dan Ball. Dan Ball, who was in our series last year at Bath. So he has, obviously it wasn't called Zero to Hero last year, but it's exactly the same premise. I've just changed the name slightly. But Dan Ball was at Bath and has apparently come over to Taunton. We've got Nick Grimes as well, who I swear was he? He was at Exeter before. So he's kind of stayed in the southwest. He's been at Taunton for a few seasons. We've got Jake Warnell here as well. Again, another one, formerly of Exeter. So has stayed in the southwest. And then we've got Jay Falston, who we had a look at a minute ago. always played lower league football, peaking at the League 2 with Newport, although he didn't make any appearances for them, so I don't know if we count that. That looks pretty decent now. I don't feel like we've got a bad team at the moment. We do completely lack any depth outside the squad. No players in the under-21 or the under-18 squad. The only other thing I haven't looked at the moment. We have got a couple of affiliates. So we've got Yeovil. Yeovil in the National League. Maybe we could get some loans off of them. Maybe not. And then we've got Bishop's Lydeard, who are we're the senior affiliate in this one. So they are in the lower league. We can send them some players if we have any. But at the moment, we're 21. Probably not. And we have exactly 0 spare wage budget. We are spending the exact budget we can use. So if we did want to bring in any more players, we would have to offload some. And as far as I can see from this, everyone's on a contract, which I feel is unusual for a club at this level, and especially with the club as well. I would assume, yeah, are semi-professional. You'd think that some of these players would be on non-contracts, but apparently not. So rebuilding this squad could be very, very interesting. We've got some higher wages there. We've got some very low wages there. And in terms of value, we've got Lee Lucas. Would we move him on if we could? Probably not this season. I think we'd keep him. Jared Lewitton is our second highest valued player. I mean, if we can shift Jared Lewitton, maybe we have to, because 2-star current ability. If we have a look at these players at the bottom, there's Ross Starley, Nat Jarvis, Lloyd Irish. I'd rather not move any of the squad on, but it might just be that we have to this season. But no, I've got to go away and try and see if I can add any players to this squad maybe, and build a tactic and a team that is capable of surviving their first ever season in the National League South. If you have enjoyed today's video and you're excited for this series and to see how we do with Taunton Town in the earliest stages, then please do drop a like down below on the video. It does really, really help out. It's really appreciated, and it would help get this video out to some other eyes that maybe haven't seen it yet. If you're excited as well and you want to keep following along with this Taunton bit of the series, then hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the content. Until next time though, guys, thank you very much for watching. I will see you on tomorrow's episode for our first matches with Taunton Town. Bye bye.